Dua for good, righteous company. Dua of the day. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tamim bil khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to include this dua in our daily life, inshallah. This dua is a beautiful dua that talks about being able to be in the company of a righteous friend. Let's say it together, word by word first. Allahumma yassir li jalisan salihan. I'm going to put it together. Allahumma yassir li jalisan saliha. If you're stopping here. Oh Allah, facilitate for me companion righteous. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to say the word and you're going to say the meaning. Allahumma yassir li jalisan salihan. Excellent. You're reading right here. Alhamdulillah. So, oh Allah, facilitate a pious companion for me, somebody who is salih, who is a righteous one. Why? Because this is really, really important, that what kind of friends you keep, defines how your life is going to be. You cannot choose your family. That's given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot wake up and say, I'm not going to meet my mom or dad or brothers or sisters, and I'm going to disconnect from them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow us to do that. But yes, friends, we can choose. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that a person is likely to follow the faith of his friend. So look whom you befriend. What you can do is take a pause and write 5 friends that comes immediately to your mind. What are my top 5 friends? Because your personality is most likely, a sum of all of them around. So you don't have to share it with anybody, but take a pause and think about, if I have today, in terms of social media, people have thousands of friends or fan base, right? But who is your friend that is really there? So you write it. Rasulullah ﷺ said that mix with the noble people, you become one of them. And keep away from evil people to protect you from their evils. So this dua is very, very important to ask Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitate for me a friend who is pious and who is righteous. Why? Because in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about a situation on the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the day in which the wrongdoers will be biting their hands. They're so upset and they're so mad. They are like, وَيَوْمَ يَعُضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي اتَّخَذْتُ مَعَ الرَّسُولِ سَبِيلًا. They will be saying, oh, woe to me, would that I had stood by the messenger. And these highlighted words, يَا وَيْلَتَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أَتَّخِذْ فُلَانًا خَلِيلًا. Woe to me, would that I had not taken so and so for a friend. He led me astray from the admonition that had come to me, and Shaitan proved to be a great betrayer of man. So we certainly do not want to be in this situation on the day of judgment, where we are saying that, Ya laytani, I wish, I should not have taken that as a friend. Today, many of the people, they stop, even sometimes they're not nice to their own parents. And they want to listen to what the friend is saying, and they end up, under the influence of a friend. But there are some friends who are great friends, and they prove to be really good role models for you. An example of a best friend. Can you think of an example of best friends? Anything comes to your mind? When you think of best friends who helped each other in times of need? Mm-hmm.
Someone you can trust and who can help you when you're feeling upset.
Somebody who is there who you can trust. So this is an example of a best friend in the form of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu and the Prophet ﷺ. So when he is leaving, he is already prepared ahead of the time. He already has the preparation ready. And we talked about in Surah Tawbah, verse number 40, that Allah did indeed help him, the Prophet ﷺ, when the disbelievers drove him out. The second of the two, when they were in the cave, and he said to his companion, La tahzan. These are words marking, worth highlighting in gold. Inna Allah ma'ana. This is a friend, a great friend. You are about to be discovered by people around, and this friend is saying, don't be sad, don't be afraid. Surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us the example of a good friend and a bad friend with an analogy, with an example. And he said that the similitude of a good companion, the example of a good companion is like the owner of musk. What is musk? It's like a perfume. If you don't get anything of him, you will still get the fragrance, you will still get the perfume, the smell of it. So if you sit with a good friend, you automatically get something good out of it. But the example of a bad companion is like the blacksmith's bellows. If you are not affected by its black dirt, you will be touched by its smoke. Right? So if somebody like has friends who like to smoke or do drugs and things like that, this person, even if he doesn't do it, he will come out and you will still be able to smell something of their clothes that, oh, they were somewhere, I didn't feel something bad, right? Just like sometimes we eat biryani and, somebody comes out and you can smell it, or there was some pizza served already, or you feel that smell. So that's the example. So what do me and you have to do? We have to choose and be a good friend. So there are some qualities that me and you have to keep in mind for having a beneficial friendship. Remember, you cannot sever the ties of kinship, but friends you can pick and choose. By now, you should be able to write the answers that why is this dua important and how I'm going to use this dua in situations. So I want to pick a friend, a friend whose company takes me to a higher level of faith. This friend meets me with Islamic greeting, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, right? This friend is not like, hey, hi, what's up, right? So there is ways a Muslim operates, and as long as the purpose is clear, you will see that coming in the mindset, in the thoughts, in the actions. This friend exchanges useful and mature ideas and thoughts. This friend is not, shunning or reforming each other's mistakes or bad habits, but this friend is very polite and, offers advice with humility. These friends do not waste each other's time in vain talk or useless activities. And these friends never encourage each other to do wrong and invite to a place or a gathering of sin. They stand firm on each other's sides when needed. Why? Because a friend in need, complete the statement for me. A friend in need is a friend. One more time. A friend in need is a friend indeed. So this friend is, a true friend, and we need to look for these qualities in somebody when we are making a friend. And also we should try to have these qualities when we are offering our friendship to the other person. How many of you are familiar with the terminology called frenemies? What is that? What is a frenemy? You are a friend with somebody, but you don't really like them. It's kind of little close, but
on and off type of friends.
On and off kind of friend. Okay, that's a good example of giving that. So this friend is a person who is pretending to be your friend, but who is in some ways an enemy or a rival against you. Okay, there's even a dua the Prophet taught us that seek protection from a friend who keeps looking at you. If he finds a fault of you, he wants to tell it to the whole world. But if he finds something nice in you, he wants to bury it. Sometimes this happens with brothers and sisters also, right? We are looking around and we are like, oh, you know what? If they did something, if accidentally they broke something, we want to quickly go and report it. You know what they did? They did that. So these frenemies we need to stay away from. So what are some qualities of frenemies, and how do we, make sure that we stay away from them? This person backbites and makes fun of people. This is not certainly a character that you want to be with or be with as a friend. This person laugh at others or call each other with demeaning names for fun. They laugh at each other's cruel jokes about someone else. Example is they get involved in activities that delay or do away with compulsory prayer. So when it's time for Salah, they have all kind of options. Let's go hang out there. Let's go do this, right? And they entice other friends in fulfilling desires and ends up spending money on things you do not really need. So it's taking you away from your purpose. And raises and discusses unimportant vain things such as films, latest gadgets, devices, like things which are not useful for you. Discussing latest devices is not like in the bad sense, but in the sense if it's just, taking away your time. Like some people, they just discuss politics too much, but they're not doing anything on ground. So you just want to use your time very wisely. And if they see anybody with a weakness or a mistake, they are not there to offer help. And you can call this a fair weather friend. What is meaning a fair weather friend? So when times are difficult, this person does not want to be your friend anymore. But if everything looks cool and perfect, they're your friends. They're fine. They're hanging around with you. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all making bad friends as, our friends. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us to be frenemies to somebody else. So let's say this together one more time. Allahumma yassir li jalisan saliha. Now, when, do we need this dua? So your friend is the one who mentions Allah to you in your presence and mentions you to Allah in your absence. So these are your true friends who are in sujood and they are, making dua for you basically. And when they are with you, they are helping you become more mindful people. So how do I choose a good friend, right? So in a nutshell, let's take three things, from the words of the Prophet ﷺ, how I'm going to choose a good friend. If you see them, they remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you are in a whole gathering and you see this friend, it immediately reminds you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their way of life guide you to the path of Allah, and their speech will increase your iman. Right? So these are some of the three topmost things. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us that when the way we live our life, we are righteous friends for others, and we are worthy of getting this gratitude that thanks for being a great friend, especially on the day of judgment. Remember the ayah that we saw, that they are not like, oh, I wish, I wouldn't have taken this as a friend. So but there is space over there too, so you're easier. Right there. So we want to dream it, dua it, and do it. And from now on, if you have never done this before, consciously make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me righteous friends. Because again, how many of us have written down the names of 5 friends that we have? 5 friends. Take time. If you have not written down, take time, pause and write. Who are my top 5 friends, and why are they my best friends? What is something that I like about them? Or do I want to update my friend list, right? And consciously make this dua that Allahumma yassir li jalisan saliha. Let me hear all of you thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who provides for everything. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me good friends, pious companions, friends that make me happy in this world and in the hereafter, inshallah. Let me hear all of you say this dua 3 times at least. Go ahead. Number 2. And number 3. Ameen. Allahumma yassir li jalisan saliha. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us great friends for others as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.